Do you want some superhero movie news? Well, I have some news for you. Put it all in one video because I don't have enough time to make another one. What do you think this is? What do you think I am? Who do you think I am? Why do you think I am? All right, we're going to start with DC. Deadline is confirming that not only is one of the villains or one of the characters in the Authority is actually going to be in Superman Legacy, but they are heavily insinuating that the Authority themselves are going to be the antagonists in Superman Legacy. Maria Gabriela, my apologies, I should say, Maria Gabriela de Faria, the Venezuelan actress best known for roles in Fox comedies Animal Control and The Moodies, has landed a breakout part on the film side, joining the cast of James Gunn's Superman Legacy. Her character is Angela Spica? I don't know. AKA The Engineer, part of the Warner/DC Flicks villain team. Angie's powers stem from nanotechnology built into her body. So yeah, I don't know anything about this character, but apparently she's from the Authority. Apparently she's like the girl on the right here, like the Silver Lady. So this seems like an interesting character. I'm very interested in her backstory and whatnot. So it seems like the Authority are going to be in Superman Legacy because it says actually let me just pull that back up here. She is part of the Warner/DC Flicks villain team. So that's heavily implying that not only is she going to be in this, but the Authority themselves are going to be a villain team in the movie. Now, I guess they could just be a team that shows up while the main antagonist is somebody else, but I don't know, that's indicating to me that they're going to be the main antagonists. I will say, this does continue begging the question of, is Superman Legacy overstuffed, right? Because we have Superman, Lois Lane, Hawk Girl, we have Metamorpho. Who else is in this? One of the Green Lanterns. I think Guy Gardner Green Lantern is in this. Now, presumably, all of the Authority. There have been rumors of Lex Luthor being in it as well. Like, there have even been rumors of people being cast as Lex Luthor. So, presumably, he's going to be in this as well. I grow more cautious of the overstuffedness as the days pass, as more casting announcements get made. I'm not going to lie. But at the end of the day, I still maintain that when we look at a lot of the bad superhero movies that have been overstuffed, right? You look at your Amazing Spider-Mans or your Spider-Man 3s, your Batman v Superman Dawn of Justice. I don't think that any of those movies are bad because there are that many characters in them. I just think they're bad because they were poorly executed. As long as it's done right, you can have a large number of characters in a movie. As long as the focus remains on Superman, this is Superman's movie, and he's not like completely overshadowed by everybody, I think it'll probably be fine. And listen, at this point in time, I trust James Gunn. I think that he is a good filmmaker. I think he's handled ensembles in the past quite well in his Guardians of the Galaxy movies. I actually think Guardians of the Galaxy 3 is a really good example of a movie that is largely Rocket's movie. Like, you could kind of argue that he's more or less the main character of the movie, while still handling a bunch of other characters well, on the side. So I don't know. I have faith that James knows what he's doing here, and I don't think that these characters, for the most part, are going to have super strong roles. I think they're going to be there to help build out the world, help build out the DCU, because I definitely think that was a lame criticism of BVS, right? There's nothing wrong with introducing a bunch of characters early and world building. It's just that the movie could have been better. I will put it like that. So yeah, get out of here, DC. We're moving on to another franchise, Marvel, because we got some interesting stuff to talk about. So Pedro Pascal is apparently going to be, or in talks to play Mr. Fantastic. While a deal is far from done, sources tell Deadline that 3-time Emmy nominee Pedro Pascal is in talks to play the leader of the iconic superhero team. So it should be noted that he has not been officially cast. He is in talks. The main thing that gets talked about when stuff like this happens is you got your people coming out being like, Red Richards is a white man. Pedro Pascal is Hispanic. This is not accurate to the source material. You know, I'm always going to reiterate my position on this. I don't really care about race swaps. As long as, like, the core identity of who the character isn't intrinsically tied to race, I think you can make it, you know, whatever race you want. Like, for example, you could probably do a black Batman. That would probably be fine. You could probably do an Asian Superman. That would probably be fine. You know, characters that you probably can't race swap, I would probably bring up, like, Atticus Finch. Kind of important to the character of Atticus Finch and the role he plays in To Kill a Mockingbird, that he is a white man. You know, kind of important that he's a white lawyer in that context. So, as far as I understand the character of Reed Richards, I don't think his whiteness is particularly important. So there's that. I also have noticed Pedro Pascal kind of approaching Chris Pratt territory, where people are starting to get annoyed that he is in seemingly every franchise. And I can kind of understand being jaded by that, but I will still contend that my frustration with Chris Pratt in things like Garfield or things like the Mario Brothers movie is that Chris Pratt just completely phones in his performances, right? Like, yes, Chris Pratt didn't ruin the Mario movie like we feared he would. Like, for what they did in that movie, Chris Pratt, in theory, was fine. I still thought he phoned in his performance and he didn't deliver just like a particularly good performance as Mario. He sounds just not at all into the role in the Garfield trailer. So that's my main gripe with those things. It's not necessarily that they cast Chris Pratt in those roles. As far as Pedro Pascal, he doesn't really, or he hasn't been shown to like phone in the roles that he's cast in, right? Like, he didn't just take The Last of Us as a paycheck. He was fantastic in that. You know, Wonder Woman 84, he was great. You could kind of argue that he's phoning in The Mandalorian a little bit, but I think whenever he's called on to provide more depth and to the character, like, I think he does it. I just think that's a very like specific character. So I guess what I'm saying is that I am totally fine with them casting Pedro Pascal as Reed Richards. I'm sure he would be like, I'm sure he's gonna commit to the role. I don't think he's gonna phone in his performance. The main thing is Marvel, you have to give him good material to work with, and that's my main fear right now with anything related to Marvel. It's just the fact that the material that they've been putting out is not particularly strong. So, you know, especially when you look at something like the Marvels, I don't blame, you know, Brie Larson or Iman Vellani or Teyonah Parris. I know that they're capable of delivering great performances, but that material that they were given and, you know, presumably the way that they were directed and just everything externally wrong with the Marvel movie-making machine right now, like, that's the stuff that worries me. It's not Pedro Pascal, because Pedro Pascal is capable of doing pretty much anything, it seems. Like, the range on this guy is absolutely phenomenal. So yeah, I have no problem with him playing Reed Richards. Although I will say the age. So Pedro Pascal is like 47 or 48. Is he too old to play Reed Richards? I mean, I know that Reed Richards is generally supposed to be like older. You know, he has like gray in his temples. But, and I'm asking Fantastic Four fans, is 47 or 48 get a little too old, right? By the time the movie comes out, he's probably going to be in his 50s. So is it maybe too old in order to start a franchise with him? I don't know, right? Like, maybe they should have gone with somebody in their early 40s. That's just a question that I pose. So yeah, we got a double whammy of Marvel and DC news. I mean, I will say, I am choosing to be optimistic about the future of these franchises. You know, with James Gunn, I trust him. I think he's a good filmmaker. He obviously has to prove himself as an executive and a steward of an entire universe. That is a different thing from just directing a movie. But as far as him as a creative, I trust him. I have faith. And then on the Marvel side of things, from everything that they've said and everything that's been reported, they seem to be committed to righting the ship. So I can only hope that Kevin Feige is going to make sure that this Fantastic Four script is phenomenal and that the movie is good, but honestly, at this point in time with Marvel, it really is just a wait and see thing. Like, they just have to give us good movies and get us confident about this universe again. So yeah, let me know what you think about these two stories in the comments down below, and I will see you in the next video. Goodbye.